Om Jnanatmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shrirupam Sagrajatam Sagara Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saranalita Shri Vishakamitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, welcome all to today's class of Bhagavad Gita. We are in chapter 9, verse number 12. Till now, we saw that how Krishna explained the most confidential knowledge in this chapter. So, if we see chapter 2 to 6, that is the knowledge of matter, that is spirit and soul and all. So, it is confident knowledge, it is Guhya, most what many people know. Then 7, 8 is about bhakti, that is more guhya, confidential. And 9 chapter is Kevala Bhakti or pure bhakti is most confidential knowledge. And that is what we are seeing here. So in first 2, 3 verses, Krishna says that this knowledge can only be understood by person who is non-envious. He should not have any envy. Otherwise, he cannot understand the things. And knowing this, what happens is one is freed from all miseries. And then he says that this king of allegation, it's king of all secrets, purest, and it gives direct experience of the self. So when we chant, we can get direct experience of the things. It is not that the experience will come after 2 years, 3 years, or not. It is not a future promise, but it is a direct experience. And it is susukam kartum, it is joyfully performed. So such is the thing when we read, when we hear, we are all joyful. And there is no something like tomorrow or there are no promises for the future. It's present. And then Krishna says that the faithless person cannot attain Krishna, and therefore one should have faith on the process and the faith on the whole devotional service. Then only one can get out of this repeated birth and death of material cycle. And then Krishna says about how he maintains the material world. So he discusses relationship with this material world, how he maintains and how everything is manifested from him. And yet, Krishna is not dependent on anything. He is not in anything. His energy does everything. And then he says that how there's periodic creation, destruction taking place by him, by Krishna's will. And one may think that, oh, if somebody is doing some work, he will be bound by that work. Like we are bound, we get if we do good work, we get good karma. If we do bad work, we get bad karma. Then Krishna says, no, he is not bound by anything. So nothing affects him. And therefore, he's the supreme director. So by his direction, everything is taking place. But then still, when he comes, what happens is fools or impersonalists, they derive him. They think that he's an ordinary person. And in this way, uh, they are not very much likely to get devotional service. So this we saw last time. Now today we'll see the different types of such people who are do not consider Krishna as supreme personality of Godhead, but they consider it so Krishna is an ordinary human being. So who are this person? Let's see what are their qualities or what are their different aspects. Let us understand. Moga cha moga karmano moga jnana vichetasha Rakshashim Surim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Shika. So those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In their deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. So now, mm, so these are like people who are bewildered and attracted by demonic and atheistic views. So like they have atheistic views, demonic views. There is no God on Lord. Like nowadays we see that the Darwin theory is very best famous. But if we see how the evolution takes place according to Darwin theory, no sane man or no logically can prove that how it is happened. Because from one species going to another species, if we see, they have different bodily organs, different aspects, the color and everything. So many things are different. Not only size and shape, but the whole things are different. The way, if we see the different species take birth, some come from egg, some come from womb, some come from this blood and all. So this is all different, but still it says that how the evolution has taken place. So it's all atheistic view and it's all demonic actually. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. So sometimes they think that, oh, we'll get liberation if we do this, this is, and if we get this results or this results. Actually, they get nothing because it's all not in the proper way it as it should be. Purport, there are many devotees who assume themselves to be in Krishna conscious and devotional service, but the heart they do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as absolute truth. So we have seen like this also. There are so many people who will chant Ram, 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 and so many names of Lord. But in the heart, they don't consider them as Supreme Personality of God. But they want to become like Ram. They want to be I because Ram is popular, Krishna is popular. What will they do? They want to imitate him, or they want to become like Ram or Krishna. But they don't want to become devotee of Krishna or Ram, but they want to become like Ram. So therefore, such person do not consider that they are Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them, the fruit of devotion is going back to God will never be tasted. So such person will never go back to God. So more than the process, the first thing what is important is the attitude of how we consider things as it is. Otherwise, if we don't have good attitude, if we don't have good things, then the process itself will not work. Therefore, it's very necessary that the uh, people first of all should have proper understanding of things and then do the process. Similarly, those who are engaged in fruitive pious activities and who are ultimately hoping to be liberated from the material entanglement will never be successful either because they deride the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. So such person also gives so much charity, but they don't belong in they don't believe in Krishna. Like there are some sect we say that Krishna is now in Narka or Krishna is not in this world. He's suffering because of he killed Kamsa and all things. So now this is not a good understanding actually, because Krishna is Lord. If he kills and if he gets karma, then how is he Lord? So he does not get any karma or something. So this is not a good understanding. So as described in the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and actually there are so many temples of Ravana also now in the India and some places. So that is what it is. So in other words, a person who mock Krishna are to be understood demonic or atheistic. As described in the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita, such demonic miscreants are never surrendered to Krishna. Therefore, the mental speculation to arrive at the absolute truth will bring them to the false conclusion that the ordinary living entity and Krishna are one and the same. So they think that everything is one and the same, but it doesn't happen. With such a false conviction, they think that the body of any human being is now simply covered by material nature, and that's as soon as one is liberated from the material body, there is no difference between God and himself. This attempt to become one with the Krishna will be baffled because of delusion. Such atheistic and demonic cultivation of spiritual knowledge is always futile. So such person will go down into hellish conditions but will not go back to God. This is the indication of this verse. For such person, cultivation of the knowledge in the Vedic literature like the Vedanta Sutra and Upanishad is always baffled. It is a great offense, therefore, to consider Krishna Supreme Personality Godhead to an ordinary man. Those who do so are certainly deluded because they cannot understand the eternal form of Krishna. The Brihat Vishnu Smriti clearly states, Yo veti bhautikam deham Krishnasya paramatmana sa sarvasmad bahiskarya shauta smrita vidhanata mukham tasyavalokyapi sachelam snanam acharet. One who considers the body of Krishna to be material should be driven out from all rituals and activities of the Shruti and Smriti. And if one by chance sees his face, he should at once take bath in Ganga to rid himself of infection. People jeer at Krishna because they are envious of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Their destiny is certainly to take birth after birth in the species of atheist and demonic life. Perpetually, the real knowledge will remain under delusion, and gradually they will regress to the darkest region of creation. So, uh, such people actually have no hope, and they will go down and down. Generally, they take birth in normally in like animal species. Like if it is dog and all, they're very envious. They have their own place. Even if some person goes, they'll bark. So such person will go to such species and gradually go even down to other species from human birth, and they have no actually hope of going back to Godhead. So therefore, the destination is to just take birth after birth after birth. That's all. Till the time they get mercy or some pure devotee and they take that mercy. So in Vedic literature, there is no hell perpetually or eternal hell. There's always a chance, maybe not this creation, next creation, next creation, next creation. There is no other case that one is perpetually put into hell or something like what the other uh, theory says. This doesn't happen in Vedic literature. They always have a chance, but maybe after many lifetimes, when they actually get some sukruti of bhakti or something. Now, 13 and 14, there's a contrast given about there was a upper, they will not uh, take shelter of Krishna, and now this persons who will take shelter of Krishna is all given in the next two verses, and what other activities also are given. महात्मानस्तु मां पाथ देवीं प्रकृतिम् आश्रिता भजन्ति अनन्या मनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम्. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotion service because they know me as a supreme personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So now these are other persons. So these are not deluded. And they are great souls. And they are under the protection of divine nature. See, this is very important. Either we are under Yoga Maya or Mahamaya, or we can say the material energy or the spiritual energy. And once one gets the protection of the divine nature, then there is no looking back. So we should always take shelter of the divine energy of Krishna. And for devotees, the same external energy becomes internal energy. So because they are all energies of Krishna, as soon as it sees that the person wants to surrender to Krishna and all, then it helps the person. So sometimes we may see that the Maya Devi is testing us by giving some allurements in here and all that. So that is just a test for her to see our sincerity. And once we pass the test, she gives all the facilities in this world for us to come closer to Krishna. Because the materialist does not want any person who doesn't have bhakti or is just faking that this person should not go back to earth. So that is the duty given to the external energy, that any person who wants to go to back to Godhead should have the requisite of that things. Like if you go to any college also, the colleges put some restriction. If somebody wants to go into medical college, so no 10 student can go. At least he has to be 11, 12 pass, 12 pass, and therefore he has to clear some NEET exam, and so many restrictions are there. Why these restrictions are there? so that the eligible person may enter that college and get the benefit. Otherwise, what will happen? Every person, Tom, Dick, and Harry, will enter the college. And what will happen? The whole thing will be spoiled. Because after coming to college, after getting that degree, he will not have the requisite qualification. He will not have that IQ to handle the things, but just the degree. So, because just having a degree, what will happen? He will create havoc in the whole society by doing the wrong things. So, that to save other people from such havoc, such all conditions are there, so that uh, the society gets proper things. Similarly, if somebody goes to back to God and somebody goes to spiritual world without having the requisite qualification, what happens? He will create havoc there. So the material energy, what is the role? The person should not go there any. Therefore, she takes sufficient test, and she just does not take test. She also gives proper ways that, oh, now let take his association or go here and there. In this way, she also helps. But till the time one is not pure, one cannot go back to God. Purport. In this verse, the description of the Mahatma is clearly given. The first sign of the Mahatma is that he is already situated in divine nature. He is not under the control of material nature. So one may be in the material world, but one cannot be under the control of material nature. It is like one is in the ocean of water, but one is still not wet, because in that ocean of water there is some island or something, some place where he can stay. Similarly, in this whole material world, or when everybody is in the grips of the material energy, such person may not be in the control of material nature, but he may be in the control of divine nature. And how is this affected? This is explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto Supreme Personality God Sri Krishna at once becomes freed from the control of material nature. So, till the time we don't bow our head to Krishna, the material nature will make our life difficult. So, somebody says that I never bow my head to anybody in this life. No, you are always bowing your head in the spiritual life, in the material world, because you have to bow your head towards your boss, towards your people where you want to do some things. If you go to any government office, anywhere where you want to go things, you have to bow your head. If you want to get some education somewhere, you have to bow your head. So there is no place that you cannot bow your head. But if one bows his head to Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he is saved. That is the qualification. One can become free from the control of material nature as soon as he surrenders his soul to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the preliminary formula. Being marginal potency, as soon as the living entity is freed from the control of material nature, he is put under the guidance of the spiritual nature. So we are marginal tathasya. So either we can go this side or that side. But as soon as the jiva takes that call that now I want to become spiritual, I want to be guided by spiritual nature, then Krishna makes all the arrangement. We don't have to do much. Krishna makes all the arrangement, and you have to just go on the Krishna's direction, and Krishna will give further direction. And in this way, if you go gradually, we'll actually go to back to world. The guidance of spiritual nature is called Devi Prakriti, divine nature. So when one is promoted in that way by surrendering to the Supreme Personality God, one attains to the stage of great soul, Mahatma. The Mahatma does not divert his attention to anything outside Krishna, because he knows perfectly well that Krishna is the original Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. So this comes in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Param Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana. So when one does not come to know what is the cause of one's happiness or what is the cause of one's miseries, one should understand that Krishna is the cause of one's happiness or miseries, because he is the ultimate cause. There may be some remote cause, or there may be some immediate cause, but the ultimate cause is Krishna. There is no doubt about it. Such a Mahatma, great soul, develops through association with other Mahatmas, pure devotees. Pure devotees are not even attracted by Krishna's other features, such as four-armed Mahavishnu. They are simply attracted to the two-armed form of Krishna. They are not attracted to other features of Krishna, nor are they concerned with any form of a demigod or of a human being. They meditate only upon Krishna in Krishna consciousness. They are always engaged in the unsavoring service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness. So, uh, very important, Ananya Bhakti, very important thing which a bhakta should practice. That I will never ever take shelter of even other incarnation of Krishna. If I am a devotee of Krishna, not even other like Mahavishnu or Narasimha Bhagwan or no Rama, no. If I am devotee of Krishna, I'll take shelter of Krishna only. That's all. Uh, the so many acharyas give so many examples of Ananya Bhakti. So we know the Chataka bird. So Chataka bird is so faithful that it will only drink water which directly comes from rain, and that also, especially the Swati Nakshatra and all. So there is water, there is so much water in oceans, there is so much water in rivers and so many places. But the bird will not drink that water. The Chataka bird will only drink water which is coming from rain. So for 8 months, he'll wait for the rain. And when he sees that the rain is coming, the clouds are coming, and he sees that now the water will come, what does the cloud do? He strikes the lightning on the bird, and the bird is shattered. Oh, how this lightning is coming. But still, he always looks for the water from the cloud. Sometimes the cloud thunders, but doesn't rain only. Still, the bird is just standing there for that water. Till the time the bird does not get that water, it will not quench its thirst. Similarly, sometimes devotees may have to go to trouble, some problem, some other devotees may harass. Sometimes what happens, the master may harass, but still the servant never leaves the master. And that is a success. If that happens, then he is sure to go back to God. Because the person knows that even the master is harming me, it is for my own good. It's like a doctor. The doctor cuts the patient at so many places. Why? Just to cure that person. He may do a surgery. In surgery, he has to cut, he has to stitch, do so many things. He has to remove some part also. So many things has to be done. But it is only for the ultimate benefit of the person. And there may be pain to that person. There may be some time when there will be confusion. Why this doctor is giving me so much pain? Why so much injection? So many things. But ultimately, the goal of doctor is to just benefit the patient. And the benefit, the role of the patient is just to trust on the doctor. If he doesn't have trust on doctor, then he should not go for the operation. Similarly, the devotee should always trust on Krishna, whether he one knows or does not know. Whatever is happening in his life is according to the will of the Lord, and that is perfect for that person. One should not think that, oh, why I am going through so much pain? My friend is not going through pain. This is not pain to you. Why I am only put in this all circumstances? No, that is not the case. Krishna has given us perfect circumstances just for our own personal gain. And by going through that pain which Krishna has given us, we will grow in our life. Otherwise, we will not go. So, therefore, trust Krishna and just do devotion service nicely. In whatever circumstances what Krishna gives, we should just go on performing devotion service. Sometimes he may put us in a bungalow, sometimes a small house, sometimes the road, sometimes he may give us chappan bhog, and sometimes some ruka suka, and sometimes there may be problem in eating also. So different things. And we have seen so many things in our own life. But in every time and circumstance, we should just say thank you and just go on. That is the way how we should, a devotee lives his life. And now in the verse number 14, what is the thing that a devotee does? What are different activities the devotee does? Is all explained in this one verse. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dirabata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Satatam means always. Kirtan means chanting my name, always chanting my glories. Always, whenever one gets a time, one chants his glories. Enduring with great determination, bowing down before me, this souls, great souls, perpetually worship me with devotion. So now, always chanting my glories means whenever the person has devoted his time, he will just chant the holy names, the glories of Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam. He may go to Dhama, he may go to temple. Like this, he'll chant the glories of Krishna and he will try to endure with great determination. See, for us now, there are so many distractions. The most biggest distraction is the mobile. These gadgets are the most deadly distractions, which we are not able to avoid also. At the same time, they are creating so many problems. So, with all this distraction also, just try to endeavor that I want to make my life perfect and I want to go to back to God in this lifetime. I don't want to take birth again. So in this way, endeavoring with great determination and then bowing down before the Lord. So these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So it is not the agarbatti, it is not the lamp. Of course, there are externals, but the main thing which by which we worship the Lord is devotion. A poor person may not afford all these lamps and this dhoop or flowers, anything, but then he may worship the Lord with devotion. Like this chapter says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. So the person may offer Patram, that is a leaf, tulsi leaf, Pushpam, that is flower, or Phalam, food, or water, that is Toyam. So one great Acharya says that suppose a devotee says, I don't have any of this. I am living in desert countries where there is no Toyam also, no water also. Then what? And Krishna says, I will be satisfied by your tears only. The tears which are flowing out of devotion from the heart, you can offer that tears to me. So such is the merciful Lord that who is accepting us tears just because it is done out of devotion. So if there is no devotion, whatever action activity we may donate some things. Like we have seen a lot of donors who come to temple, they say that I want to donate this, but then I want my name. Prestige is there. They say that my name should be there. So in the name of donation, what they want to do is actually they want to glorify themselves, that people should know that I have given the donation. So that is not the proper way. Actually, the most important thing is devotion. That whatever we do, it should be done with devotion. It may be anonymous, that I don't want anything, I just want bhakti. That's the whole goal. So when we don't ask anything for Krishna, then Krishna automatically gives the best thing, that is bhakti. But when we say, I want this, and then what happens? Krishna says, okay, I don't want to give you, but what to do? You are forcing me this to give you. See, in the case of demigods, what happens is they want to give you material things because they cannot give you spiritual things. Demigods does not have that power to get you out of the cycle of birth and death. And therefore, they are obliged to give material things, even if they want or they do not want. And when one takes something from demigods, then what happens is one is bound by a network. That is, one again and again will ask demigods what with these material things. But when one worships Supreme Lord for something, what happens? One will get that thing, but then one will be so satisfied that after some time one will not ask for material things. Automatically, he'll become spiritual. And therefore, if if you even want to ask something material also, we should go to the Lord. That is the best bet. In this way, we'll be saved. So the Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stepping in ordinary man. His symptoms are described here. A Mahatma is always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of God. He has no other business. He is always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. In other words, he is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, one has to glorify the Supreme Lord, praising his holy name, praising his holy name, his eternal form, his transcendental qualities, and his uncommon pastimes. One has to glorify all these things. Therefore, a Mahatma is attached to the Supreme Personality of God. So nobody can become a Mahatma just by name. Like we see that so many people use this word Mahatma. Is a very good person, but that cannot be done. So his systems are, what are his systems? Always chanting the glories of Lord. So wherever he goes, he chants the glories. People can understand that he is Krishna actually. If he is Krishna, he can give me to he may give me Krishna. So he always chanting the glories. And he has no other business. No other business except chanting the glories of Krishna. And then he's always engaged in glorification of the Lord. He'll always glorify the Lord. Whatever the case is, he'll always do one thing, that is glorification of Lord. And who will glorify the Lord? He's not impersonalized. So sometimes we see that the person wants to become one with God, but no, he's not an impersonalized. He's a person. He believes in person, and nobody can remain without glorify other person. Actually, see, we may glorify prime minister, president, chief minister, and so many people. This is all good. There is nothing wrong in that. But if we don't glorify Supreme Personality Godhead and just glorify all things, what will happen is we'll have to take birth again. This is the cycle of birth and death. Either we should be aware of things and glorify Supreme Personality Godhead. That will make things much better. So, in this way, Mahatma is attached to Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, one who is attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Brahma Jyoti, is not described as Mahatma in the Bhagavad Gita. He is described in a different way in the next verse. The Mahatma is always engaged in different activities of devotional service as described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Hearing, chanting about Vishnu, not a demigod or human being. That is devotion. Shravanam Kirtananto Vishnu and Smaranam. So remembering, such a Mahatma has firm determination to achieve at the ultimate end the association of the Supreme Lord in any one of the five transcendental rasas. To achieve that success, he engages all activities, mental, bodily, and vocal, everything in the service of Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. That is the called full Krishna consciousness. So, one who is attached to the impersonal form, they are not Mahatmas, and it will come in the next works only. So, Mahatma actually hears first. How to become a one should hear about devotional service. So, if there is some qualified devotee, one should hear. And then after hearing, what happens? One starts chanting. And if there is no qualified devotee, then what should do? We should do smaranam of what we have heard. In this way, one is engaged in any of the activities of the bhakti. So one should be engaged always in some of the activities of bhakti. So, and this can happen anytime. While we are working also, we can take 1 or 2 minutes break and remember Krishna. And I have seen devotees, like some devotees stay with me, even they are working on the laptops on some project or something. With their mouth, they will continuously chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And they will simultaneously do their work also. So the chanting is continuously going on, whatever work they do. And even I have seen so many Matajis who have become proficient in cooking. So now cooking has become their second nature. Now, anytime they can cook for any people because they know how much to put. And they don't even take measurements that, 100 grams is or 200. No, nothing. They just put and the things are made. So such devotees also, they also constantly chant the holy name. and they are habituated to it. So we also should train ourselves in such a way that after 55, 60, when the actual retirement age comes, we are not looking for another job, but we are looking only that we get complete shelter of holy name. We get complete shelter of Supreme Personality Godhead. And those who do not train in the initial years, what happens to them is even if they get a holiday, if they are retired at 60, they're not able to chant the holy name because they were never trained themselves and they are looking for a second job. So there is a very miserable condition where one has toiled so hard, has got devotional service, and one has got the time also. But just because one has not practiced in a whole lifetime, one is not able to chant the holy name. Therefore, even on a busy schedule, on holidays, on Ekadashi, on a daily basis, we should try to increase our rounds. We should not stick at just 16. We should go to 17, 18, 19. In this way, gradually we should increase so that when the time comes, we are accustomed to chanting, we are accustomed to hearing, and in this way, we can do our devotional service very nicely. So in devotional service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, Ekadashi, and on the appearance day of the Lord. So all these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting admission to the association of Supreme Personality Godhead in the transcendental world. The Mahatmas, great souls, strictly observe all these rules and regulations. Therefore, they are sure to achieve the desired results. So these all vratas, Ekadashi, Dwadashi, and it may be difficult, but they're the right thing to do if one wants to go back to Godhead. And those who wants to go to back to Godhead has actually to take some things which are not acceptable to them, which will make them more tolerant and all. So one should definitely do. So these are for whom who wants association of Supreme Godhead, who wants to go to back to God. See, one who does not want to go to back to Godhead, he may not follow. That's not a problem. But if one wants to go to back to Godhead, one has to follow rules and regulations. Like suppose somebody has got admission in IIT. If one does not want to pass the exams, there is no need of studying. But if one wants to pass the exams, then one needs to study. One needs to give exam, do all the process. Otherwise, if he does not want degree only and for 10, 20 years he wants to stay in the college only, then there is no need. So as described in the second verse of this chapter, not only is the devotional is very easy, but it can be performed in a happy mood. One does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. So in devotional service, sometimes we see people have developed their own austere habits. And so actually one should not do. See, like I have seen some devotees who walk barefoot in a dham. It's good. I have nothing against it. But just consider one point. See, if somebody is walking without slippers, without shoes, and is constantly meaning of Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the best thing. But suppose you are not accustomed to walk barefoot and you get blisters on your leg and your attention is going to the blisters, then better not to do the tapasya, because the tapasya or the austerity is meant to remember Krishna. But when you do tapasya and remember your foot which has got blisters and your attention is only to the foot, then the whole purpose of doing tapasya is lost. Therefore, better to wear shoes and remember Krishna rather than do austerity and remember the blisters on the foot and then go take medical help and then do this and this, so many things. Better not to do that. See, any austerity is meant just to enhance our remembrance of Krishna. And if that purpose is not met, then the doing the austerity is not good. Better do such austerities which is good for bringing us closer to Krishna. I hope this point is understood. I am not against tapasya, but I am against tapasya which does not lead us to remembering Krishna, but leads away from remembering Krishna. And like this, there are so many tapasya. Like if somebody has some sinus issue and he takes cold water bath and he's all day sneezing and so many things he's doing, then there is no need actually to do such tapasya. Or there is some person who likes sweet but says, no, this month I will not eat sweet. But every day is meditating on that same sweet. Then we should think of what tapasya we should take, because the ultimate goal of all tapasya is to remember Krishna. And if one is not able to do so, the same tapasya which could have helped us to grow in our devotional service becomes an instrument to make us fall down from our devotional service. And that should be avoided by all means. Further, Prabhupada says he can live this life in devotional service guided by an expert spiritual master in any position, either as a householder or sannyasi or a brahmachari. In any position from anywhere in the world, he can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become actually Mahatma, a great soul. So, one should live in devotional service. We should have expert master, spiritual master. Nowadays, it may not be possible to get association of spiritual master because spiritual master has so many disciples. Then any qualified person whom the spiritual master has considered to be senior most, and we can take guidance from them also, because they also are the person who are representing the spiritual master. So that is also okay. And it is not that whether one is a house or a sannyasi or brahmachari, that is not the problem. See, a person may be householder, he may be a better devotee than a brahmachari or sannyasi also. So it all depends on what is our consciousness rather than what ashram we are in. So in any ashram, one can practice devotional service. And actually, Grahastha ashram is more suited to practice devotional service in this age of Kali Yuga rather than brahmachari or sannyasi ashram, where the challenges are much more than the previous yuga to maintain even the basic things. The whole atmosphere is so surcharged with material vibrations that it's almost impossible to even stay for a long time. Like one devotee was recently telling that when he stays in Vrindavan, what happens is chanting becomes very easy. It flows like water. But when he went to some other place, what happened is his chanting was a big task. He had to take a lot of effort, and he was thinking, how could you stay here? The whole ether is having such vibrations of enjoyment that I am not able to, I can feel the pressure and I'm not able to chant my rounds properly. So, therefore, uh, it matters a lot where we are and what we are doing. Rather than our ashrama, we should make an environment where we can chant very nicely. So he can perform devotional service to Supreme Personality of God and thus become actually Mahatma, the great soul. So anywhere one is, one should perform devotional service, and this way one is called Mahatma. So Mahatma is not the word that can be used in some material sense. It is a word we should use for spiritual sense only. So then now, uh, what are different kinds of jnanis who worship the Supreme Personality of God by cultivating is given in verse number 15. ज्ञानयज्ञेन चापि अन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम्. Others who engage in different in sacrifice in the by the cultivation of knowledge. So others means the jnanis who are engaged in sacrifice. So they what they do is jnani means they cultivate knowledge. So their sacrifice is cultivation of knowledge. Worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. So they worship him like different things. Like one is ekatvena. So ekatvena is like they think that themselves as God, and in this way they worship. So this will be described in 12th chapter, verse number 1 to 5. In this way it will elaborated there. Ekatvena. Prithakvena is like they worship in different diversities. Like it's like the second one that has diverse in many. So this is a Prithakvena. So they worship different demigods. But the understanding is that Krishna is the supreme personality God. That understanding they have. If that understanding is not there, the Gyanis don't get the desired results. And third is Vishwatomukham, that is in the universal form. See this here, we see Ekatvena, Prithakvena, and Vishwatomukham. So this Ekatvena, Prithakvena, and Vishwatomukham. So they worship the Lord. In Ekatvena, what they want is they also want to worship Krishna in goodness, but they think themselves as God. So that is what Ekatvena is. Prithakvena is they worship Krishna in diversity, in many demigods and all. And Vishwadamukham is they worship Krishna in the universal form. Uh, in this way, there are different kinds of Gyanis who worship Krishna by cultivating knowledge. So others, purport. This verse is a summary of the previous verses. The Lord tells that those who are purely in Krishna consciousness and do not know anything about other than Krishna are called Mahatma. So this Mahatma word can be used in context of spiritual realm, not in context of material things which happen back or somewhere. No. Yet there are other persons who are not exactly in the position of Mahatma, but who worship Krishna also in different ways. Some of them have already been described as the distressed, the financially destitute, the inquisitive, and those who are engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. But there are others who are still lower, and these are divided into three. One who worships himself uh, as one with the Supreme Lord. So he thinks that I am equal to Supreme Lord and one with him. So he worships himself. Second is he who concocts from some form of Supreme Lord and worships that. So he will concoct this form of Supreme Lord. So he will worship in the form of different demigods, or he concord like this, maybe the form or that, maybe form. And third, he accepts the universal form, the Vishwarup, which we'll see in the 11th chapter, it will come. Bhagavad of how Vishwarup is. And uh, the further verses also, from 16 to 19, the after this verse also, it will describe this Vishwamukam on this very elaborately. And after that, from 20 to 25, this Prithakvena worship or worship Krishna in many forms, demigods will be also described very nicely there. Hmm. Some of them already described as distress, the financial dispute, the inquisitive, and those engaging cultural knowledge. So this we have seen. But there are others who still lower. This we have seen the worship of Supreme Lord in Concourse himself and the Supreme Person God, who accesses the universal form, the Vishwarup form. So out of the above three, the lowest, those who worship themselves as Supreme Lord, thinking themselves to be the monist, are most predominant. Such people think themselves to be the Supreme Lord, and in this mentality, they worship themselves. This is also a type of God worship, for they can understand that they are not material body, but actually spiritual soul. So such people are also at least glorified. That even if they are worshipping themselves, they actually consider that we are not spiritual, actually, we are not this body, but spirit, soul. So in that way, that's still better. At least they're accepting that there is something called a soul, super soul is there. So they are still bit better than others. generally the impulsive worship the Supreme in Lord in this way. The second class includes the worshippers of the demigods, those who by imagination consider any form of to be the form of Supreme Lord. So they say that if you worship any form, you will ultimately reach the main goal. So that is what their understanding is. But actually, we know that whatever form we worship, uh, we get that results. We go to that dham of where the form resides. So this is not proper. And the third class includes those who cannot conceive of anything beyond the manifestation of the material universe. They consider the universe to be a supreme organism or living or entity that and worship that the universe is also a form of the Lord. So such person who thinks that universe is everything and they worship universe. So in this way, this form can be seen. So this will be explained now in further verses. So let's see verse number 16. Aham kratur aham yajna swadaham aham aushadam mantro aham ahameva jnam aham agni aham hutam. But it is I who am the ritual, I am the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendent chant, I am butter and the fire in the offering. So now, how to worship the Supreme Personality God in universal form is given these all verses. So this verse says that Aham Kratu, that I am the ritual. So, so Krishna is present in different elements of the sacrifice. So he says Yajna. So he's Yajna also, and he's oblation also. He's offering oblations, and he's also the healing herbs. So if we see the herbs, the healing potency comes from Krishna. So in this way we can understand the transcendental chant also. And he is the butter and the fire and the offering. So everything which is to be offered to the Lord, uh, which is he is offered. So we can understand that not he, but his energy is there in that. Purport. The Vedic sacrifice is known as Jyotishma or is also called as Krishna, and he's also the Mahayagya mentioned in the Smriti. The oblations offered to Pitraloka, to the Pitraloka, the sacrifice performed to please the Pitraloka, considered as a king of the drug in the form of clarified butter, is also Krishna. So we can see here that we can see Krishna in all the forms, everywhere. So wherever the sacrifice is offered, whether the oblations are offered, so this is all considered as uh, Krishna. That means the representation of Krishna or energy of Krishna. The mantras chanted in this connection are also Krishna, and many other commodities made with milk products for offering in the sacrifice are also Krishna. The fire is also Krishna because fire is one of the five material elements and therefore claimed as a separate energy of Krishna. In other words, the Vedic sacrifices recommended in the Karma Kand division of the Vedas are in total also Krishna. Or in other words, those who engage in rendering devotional service to the Krishna are to be understood to have performed all the sacrifice recommended in the Veda. This is very important. Sometimes devotees ask whether I should do this yagya and that yagya or this or not, or whether I should do this for my forefathers and all. Actually, not necessary. If you have faith in devotional service, if you have faith in the hearing chanting, there is no necessity to do any of the rituals other than this. If you don't have faith in holy name, if you don't have faith in the whole process, then better you do the other things. Otherwise, actually, there is no need. One needs just faith that by chanting the holy name, all the other things will be performed. And therefore, it is written here that just by chanting the holy name, what happens is one has performed all the sacrifices which are recommended in the Vedas. So this is all done. And then we have come to devotional service. And therefore, uh, what we should do is focus more on devotional service rather than other things. So I will stop for the day. Thank you very much.